This is Maricela Botelho Valadez. At this moment, she is inside a 7-Eleven in Deep Ellum, a lively district in Dallas, Texas. She is accompanied by a man she had only recently met, someone she encountered after leaving her friend's apartment, where she had been staying during a short visit from Seattle. What Maricela does not realize is that the man beside her, charming, confident, and seemingly harmless, is the last person she will ever be seen with alive. The decision to walk with him toward his residence will unknowingly set in motion a tragic case filled with disturbing revelations, hidden relationships, and unexpected twists that investigators would later struggle to fully comprehend. And ultimately, this investigation would evolve into one of the most unsettling cases the city had ever seen, ending in a way no one could have foreseen. Our story unfolds in Deep Ellum, a historic neighborhood in Dallas, long known for its artistic soul. Established in the late 1800s, the area grew into a cultural landmark, especially famous for its contributions to jazz and blues. In modern times, it is transformed into a vibrant entertainment district, covered in murals, filled with renovated industrial buildings, barbecue restaurants, music venues, and a bustling nightlife scene. It is here that everything begins. Maricela was 23 years old. She had traveled from Seattle to Dallas with plans that seemed simple and harmless: to reconnect with her former boyfriend and enjoy a brief weekend escape. Born in 1997, she had built a stable life in Seattle after finishing high school, securing a solid job at a logistics and shipping company. Her loved ones described her as disciplined, motivated, and focused on building a secure future. She was known to maintain friendly relationships even after breakups, often staying on good terms with former partners. On October 1st, 2020, she received an invitation from her ex-boyfriend, Raul Ortiz, to visit him in Dallas. She arrived on October 3rd and already had a return flight booked for the early morning of October 5th. On the night of October 4th, after spending time at a nightclub together, Maricela and Raul returned to his apartment. Raul, heavily intoxicated, misplaced his keys and ended up unable to enter. He chose to sleep outside while waiting for his roommate to return. Maricela, however, decided not to stay in. Instead, she headed back into Deep Ellum alone, intending to continue her night before catching her flight back home. Her brother was expecting to pick her up at the airport in Seattle, but she never arrived. When she failed to board her flight and her phone went offline, concern quickly grew. The airline confirmed she had not checked in. Her brother then contacted Raul, who explained that she had left earlier that night and he had no idea where she went. Soon after, police were notified that Maricela Botelho Valadez was missing. At first, authorities treated the case as low priority. Because she was an adult, they initially considered the possibility that she may have left voluntarily. However, as days passed and her family insisted something was wrong, investigators began looking deeper. It wasn't long before they confirmed she had last been seen at a bar known as Select Start. After that moment, she vanished. Surveillance and witness accounts later revealed that just after midnight, she was dropped off near Elm Street. Video footage showed her leaving the bar alone, but that would be the final confirmed sighting of her. Around the same time, her phone activity stopped completely, and her debit card was never used again. Family members grew increasingly desperate, questioning why the investigation had not gained urgency. By the third day, detectives obtained additional surveillance footage from the surrounding area. In it, Maricela was seen walking alongside an unidentified man toward a parking area behind a nightclub. Further investigation revealed that she had entered a nearby 7-Eleven with the same individual, where she purchased drinks before leaving with him toward a vehicle. The car was identified as a black Audi A3. Using license plate tracking systems across the city, investigators traced the vehicle's movements. Once they matched registration data and driver identification, they identified a man named Charles Chuck Beltran, 31 years old. At that point, investigators considered two possibilities. Either Maricela had willingly left with him, or she had been forced. However, surveillance images showed her appearing relaxed, which complicated the abduction theory. Police began searching for Beltran. He worked as a nightclub security guard in the same area where he met Maricela and had a prior criminal history, including a conviction for aggravated robbery involving a firearm. When investigators reviewed her phone's location data, they discovered her final digital trace aligned with an address linked to Beltran's vehicle registration leading directly to his residence. It took more than a week of investigative work to reach that conclusion. On October 14th, officers arrived at the property, but no one was there. Attempts to contact the homeowner revealed the house was not officially rented under Beltran's name. Instead, it was leased to a woman named Lisa Dykes. When questioned, Lisa claimed she had not seen Beltran for weeks and refused to provide meaningful details about his whereabouts or her connection to him. Her vague responses raised suspicion. As investigators dug further, they discovered she worked as a legal assistant at a respected law firm, which explained her cautious and controlled responses. At first, she was not labeled a suspect, only a person of interest. However, the situation quickly escalated. When police obtained a search warrant and entered the residence, they found signs of a hurried cleanup. Items were scattered, doors left open, and rooms appeared disturbed. In the guest bedroom believed to belong to Beltran, officers noticed a section of carpet that appeared recently cleaned. A chemical blood reagent later revealed hidden staining beneath it. Lab analysis confirmed the blood belonged to Maricela. This discovery dramatically changed the case. Investigators then uncovered that the house was shared not only by Beltran and Dykes, but also by Lisa's wife, Nina Morano. The relationships between the three individuals appeared complex and deeply intertwined. Lisa and Nina were legally married and both had professional backgrounds in law. Beltran, meanwhile, had been living with them and was financially supported by Lisa, who also invested in his music projects and personal lifestyle. He drove a vehicle registered under her support and used the home as a base for his personal studio activities. Further evidence revealed that Lisa's personal life had become heavily entangled with both Beltran and Nina, forming a complicated domestic arrangement. Phone records placed all three individuals at the residence during the early hours of October 5th, the same time frame Maricela disappeared. Shortly afterward, warrants were issued for the arrest of all three. However, by the time authorities returned, the suspects had already fled. Later, digital tracking showed Lisa and Nina traveling south of Dallas toward a remote wooded area near Hutchins, Texas. Search teams combed the region extensively. Months later, in March 2021, human remains were discovered by a hunter in a rural area of Wilmer, Texas. Dental and forensic analysis confirmed the remains belonged to Maricela Botelho Valadez. Due to environmental damage, the exact cause of death could not be determined. Soon after, arrests began. Nina Morano was located in Miami and taken into custody. Lisa was later arrested in Florida as well, after briefly evading authorities. Beltran was eventually captured in Utah. While out on bail, Lisa and Nina cut off their electronic monitoring devices and fled the country, eventually traveling through multiple nations before being tracked to Southeast Asia. International cooperation led to their arrest abroad and extradition back to Texas. Beltran eventually accepted a plea deal related to tampering with human remains and provided a detailed statement about the night of the incident. He claimed that after a consensual encounter, he fell asleep and later woke to find Lisa attacking Maricela in a fit of jealousy and rage. According to his account, Lisa confronted him, upset over his involvement with other women, and the situation spiraled into violence. He stated that in shock and fear of being blamed due to his criminal background, he fled the scene without contacting authorities. During the trial, Lisa denied all allegations of a romantic relationship with Beltran, insisting their connection was strictly professional and that she had only supported his career financially. Nina did not testify against her. However, prosecutors presented evidence suggesting contradictions in Lisa's statements, including phone records and behavioral changes over time that indicated a deeper personal involvement. Ultimately, Lisa Dykes was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison, along with additional years for tampering with evidence. Nina Morano and Charles Beltran accepted plea agreements related to tampering charges and received prison sentences. What began as a young woman's weekend trip ended as a complex and disturbing criminal case involving intertwined relationships, conflicting testimonies, and a tragic loss that left lasting questions behind.